Hey everyone, how's it going? Thanks so much for tuning in. In today's video, we'll be taking an in-depth look at my new work truck. It's a 2001 Dodge Ram ST that used to belong to my father-in-law. Some of you may remember that he unexpectedly passed away last summer, and of course, we miss him a whole lot. So I want to dedicate this video in memory of Wesley, and I hope you all enjoy. Crystal and I decided to hold on to his truck because we just wanted to keep it in the family and we knew we could put it to good use. Even with 190,000 miles on it, it's still in really good shape. I actually showed it in the house update video that I uploaded not too long ago and asked if anyone would like to see a video on the truck, and the response was just overwhelming, so thank you all so much for chiming in. In this video, I'll be covering all the ins and outs of the truck. Of course, I'll start it up, get an exhaust clip, and take it for a thorough drive. I also need to take care of some maintenance items, including an oil change and a much-needed shock replacement because it still has the original shocks and they're a little worn out to say the least. So, of course, a big thanks to Valvoline and O'Reilly Auto Parts for supporting the channel. If you decide to shop online via O'ReillyAuto.com, don't forget to take advantage of the exclusive discount code SK04, which gets you 20% off of purchases of $100 or more. I'll put a link in the description box below. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and hop on in, start it up, and get it in the shop. Most of you probably already know just from watching the project videos that I very much enjoy messing with older vehicles. I've actually grown quite fond of this truck just for the simple fact that it's a basic no-frills work truck. Rubber floors, manual everything, it doesn't get much more simple than that. Ever since I was younger, I've always thought the second generation Ram was a really sweet looking truck. When they first came out, they were obviously quite different from the full-size Ford and GM trucks at the time. Less squared off and more emphasis on just being stylish. So you've got some prominent detailing with those flares above the rear wheels, and you have that raised hood and the popped-out front fenders that blend into the front doors. I really, really like that. The ST was one trim level above the work truck, so it was basic, but it wasn't full basic. I bet this was a beautiful truck when it was brand new. I mean, the regular cab short bed is perfectly proportionate with this styling. It looks right. You've got some chrome up front, chrome wheels, chrome rear bumper, and the paint's really nice too. It's a metallic blue over silver. Of course, it's got its fair share of dents and dings, and the truck could use a repaint, but it still cleans up quite nice. Perhaps the most amazing thing about this particular truck is the fact that it is totally rust-free. From what I've seen, that's a pretty rare thing to find with second gens nowadays. The inside is like a dark charcoal. Like I was saying, it's very basic. But what I really like about it is that it's super easy to clean. It's also a really functional space, which I'll talk more about later in the video. Got a full cloth bench seat, the fold-down armrest, and those rubber floors. Now let's head in the shop. Alright, first item on the agenda is a quick oil change. Specifically, I'll be using Valvoline's high mileage with max life technology motor oil. 10W30 is the recommended viscosity for the 3.9 liter V6. It's important to remember that as you pile up the miles, you need to tailor your oil to the specific needs of your engine to ensure a long life. Valvoline's high mileage oil offers enhanced anti-wear additives for up to 40% better wear protection than industry standards, as well as additional detergents to help protect against sludge and deposits. What's also nice is that it offers premium seal conditioners to help treat and prevent future oil leaks. This truck is shockingly clean underneath. The synthetic blended version of the high mileage oil is the best of both worlds in my opinion, especially if you're unsure of whether synthetic oils were ever used in the past. This truck is so practical, and I want to make sure I'm doing everything that I can to take care of it properly. The downside with driving older vehicles is that there's almost always something that needs to be done somewhere. So with the oil change out of the way, the other really important thing I wanted to tackle for the moment was the shock absorbers, because again, 2001 was a long time ago and 190,000 miles is a lot of miles. This thing rides terrible. It's actually quite unpredictable. It's got some excessive floatiness on the highway, and on some rougher roads it can get real jarring, so I'm gonna yank out all this old junk and finally get some fresh stuff in there. I actually went to O'Reilly and bought a set of Monroe-Matic Plus shocks, and they were only like 30 bucks a piece, so not too bad, and they have a lifetime warranty, so you really can't beat that. I've got that link in the description if you'd like to check out O'ReillyAuto.com, look up your vehicle, and see what kind of stuff they offer for it. You can see just how bad this shock is by how easy it is to compress it together, and when I let off, it doesn't want to extend back out to its typical length. Thankfully, it's not too hard to change out the shocks on these trucks. It's a simple remove and reinstall. They're just held in by nuts and bolts. However, if you're dealing with a more rusty situation, PB Blaster is always a good idea to spray on beforehand just to try to loosen things up, but certain instances might require more creative solutions. Now let's go ahead and take it for a drive. This thing rides so much better, thank goodness. It's not like an extreme night and day difference, but I can tell the difference. The ride quality is definitely a bit more firm than it was before, but it's also way more controlled. It doesn't bounce nearly as much or lean in corners. It's not quite as jittery feeling, so I'm very, very happy. Like I said, there's always something that can be done on older vehicles, and you know, there's more repairs that I'm going to be doing over time. I think the next big thing I'll probably tackle is ball joints at some point and just work on redoing the front suspension, but as it is right now, I'm really happy with it. So let's go ahead and talk about how it drives. From a performance perspective, obviously the truck is not fast. It's what you would expect out of a full-size truck with, you know, the base V6. My biggest complaint is probably low-end torque. You know, 170 horsepower, 230 pound-feet of torque, but those numbers are like high up into the RPM range. I don't even think the engine makes peak torque until it's over 4,000 RPM. I mean, you really got to be winding this thing out. So if you're towing a trailer or something, don't pull out in front of somebody. You barely have enough power to get out of your own way, and then you load up a trailer behind. You better give yourself enough room, I'm telling you. But you know, for what it is and just being a basic pickup, the V6 is perfectly adequate, I suppose, you know, for light duty work. It actually sounds pretty decent, like you heard with that startup at the beginning. It's got a little bit of rumble back there. Of course, I would love if this had a V8. You know, Dodge had all sorts of engines available for the Ram lineup at the time. You had the 3.9 V6, the 5.2 V8, 5.9 V8, the V10 8 liter, I think, I can't remember, and I think 2 different Cummins diesel variants. So a lot of different choices, but I know you can get V8s in the regular cabs, but probably the biggest downside to that would be even worse fuel economy than what I'm getting in this thing. It takes just regular 87 octane, but I think the mileage ranges between like 15 and 20 miles to a gallon. It's not great, but at least the fuel is cheap, so kind of balances itself out, I guess. What I really like about this truck is its size. You know, it's a full-size pickup, but it's not very big. The third generation Ram, which came out in 2002, feels quite a bit bigger than this truck. This is a good, nice size. I still have my my Sierra, in case anybody was wondering. That's my primary tow vehicle and whatnot, but it's a nicer truck, and I really don't like driving it a whole lot just because it's so big. It's just a little cumbersome driving through town sometimes, but when it comes to, you know, running to the hardware store, running to O'Reilly, picking up stuff, I mean, this truck has been absolutely perfect. And Crystal and I have used it a whole lot with, you know, building our house and, you know, getting things. It's just been a really nice nice truck, and it's pretty cheap to work on. Some of the stuff that I've done to it, you know, the AC compressor we had to get done, and let me see, tires. Other than that, low pressure switch to the AC system. It's been pretty good. No real issues to complain about. One of the biggest weak points you'll hear about with these trucks is the transmission, unfortunately, and I haven't had any issues with this one yet, but I don't know what the service history of it has been. So as much as I would like to do, you know, like a fluid flush and stuff, I don't know if I should, because traditionally it's like, well, if you haven't changed the fluid after so many miles, you might be better off not changing it, because you might, you know, unglue something that's being held together by a bunch of crud in there. I don't know how true that is. It's just something I've always heard, but you know, 190,000 miles, it drives okay. It really does. It acts a little weird going into overdrive sometimes. Like, you know, you'd be going through the gears, and when it goes into overdrive, it's like boom, it's like punching you in the back, and sometimes it's a little more harsh than others. If I'm towing a trailer, I usually just take the overdrive off, and you know, going through the other gears, it's perfectly fine. It's probably just old. I have no idea. It's one of those, like, I'm gonna treat this truck really, really nice, and I'm gonna say nice things to it. Be gentle to me. No transmission issues. You're healthy. You're good. You're in good shape. Otherwise, I mean, we're just gonna soldier on as it is. That was a big bump. But all in all, I really, really like this truck. Probably more than I should. It's very simple. It's easy to drive. It's, you know, rides pretty decent overall. And I guess probably the weirdest thing I will say, these Dodge transmissions, the column shifter, which I love column shifters, but this is extremely smooth, and I don't know how else to describe it, but it's like with my Sierra, it's like clunk, 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 clunk. This one is just, it's weird. If you've ever shifted one of these column shifters in the Dodge trucks, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's, I don't know, I'm weird, I guess. Now I'm back at the shop. Let's see how she sounds. Let me show you the rest of the interior. I'm sure some of you may be wondering whether this dash was actually uncracked, because that's extremely rare to find in a second gen, and it is absolutely destroyed. This is one of those cover lay, like ABS plastic covers. which fit pretty decent. I kind of messed up the installation over there, but I actually did this for Wesley years ago because I was cleaning the windshield one time and I slipped and my hand went right through the dash. And then after I got it all put back together, this piece cracked later on. So that's been like that for years. Just, you know, typical second gen problems. But the steering wheel is actually fixed. There aren't any adjustments to it, but it's fine because it's in a perfect you know, alignment to where I would normally drive. Off on the left hand side of the dash you have all of the lighting controls, cargo lamp, interior lighting dimmer. Off on the right side of the dash there's climate controls, an AM/FM radio with a cassette player, there's 4 speakers, little storage tray right there. You can turn the passenger side airbag off via that switch up there. And then down below, you've got 2 very large cup holders, which are awesome. The ashtray is here, which I don't use it for an ashtray, but it's a very nice storage cubby. I've got my phone charger right there where the cigarette lighter would normally be, and this is perfect space to fit an iPhone XS Max, keys, whatever. So I use that all the time. There's a 12-volt power outlet in the very bottom. What's awesome about these cup holders is that you can adjust them here and fit just about anything, and they really grip the cup. So, you know, probably some of the best cup holders I've seen lately as far as the older vehicles are concerned. I do need to add a little bit of felt tape in here, because when you're driving down the road it creaks a lot, but once you close it back up, it's nice and solid. No issues. Behind the seat, you have all sorts of convenient storage space. Across the bottom of the cab, you have this full width compartment, which is really nice for putting like tow straps and, you know, jumper cables and other knickknacks. There's also hooks all across the back wall here where you can install these like repositionable cargo trays. I thought about seeing if I can find some more online to put over there because they're really good for, you know, WD-40, gloves, other little small things like that. So at some point I'm going to organize a bunch of tools in here, so if I go to like pull apart or something like that, I've got pretty much everything I could throw in a bag and head out with. Here's another look at the back wall. You can actually see those hooks right there where the trays would attach, and then that big tray across the bottom. The seat belts are adjustable up and down, so you can accommodate different people, and there's child seat anchors across the back. Underneath the passenger side is the jack and like tire changing equipment. This armrest is pretty fantastic too. I love how broad the top surface is. It's also padded. You can flip it up out of the way if you want to seat somebody in the middle. Otherwise, there's a bunch of space inside it, different sized cubbies for different sized items, and even some chain storage. Last but not least, the glove box. It's a little messy right now, but has a pretty good amount of space. And that's pretty much it. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Be sure to stay tuned next time. Subscribe today if you haven't already, because there's a lot more content where that came from. Also, double check that your notification bell is selected and leave a like below because it really helps the video a lot. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.